Raiti from Raiti's Rides, and I have been getting a lot of messages. You know, I've been putting up some new 2019 Mustangs, and they've been GTs with the V8s. People have been asking, hey, what about the EcoBoost? Well, I'm back here at Walker Ford in sunny, blazing hot Florida, and I'm here to answer that question, those comments. I have, fresh off the truck, a 2019 Ford Mustang EcoBoost. Let me give you a little bit of history lesson about the Mustang. Now remember, when the Mustang first came out, 1964 and a half, you had options, just like you have today. And that's the wonderful thing that I love about Ford with the Mustang, is that they have a flavor for everybody. It's like going to Baskin Robbins and having all those choices of those 36 flavors. But anyways, back in 64 and a half, you had an option. You could get a straight six, you could get a V8. As time went by, performance was the name of the game. Big block engines came into play, and power was just going up, up, up and away. Then, due to the oil embargo crisis, emissions of the 70s, horsepower was strangled out of these cars. What I find very fascinating about this 2019 Ford Mustang EcoBoost behind me is that at 310 horsepower, I know a lot of you would be like, oh, that's not enough power. It's just crazy how our mindset has changed, because if you went back to 1964 and a half, or even most of the 60s, to have a car with 310 horsepower, that was actually pretty quick. A lot of those early V8s, especially the 283s and whatnot, didn't have 310 horsepower. So it's kind of crazy how now, living in the 21st century, we have all these computers and technology that allows us to have the power with the clean air coming out those tailpipes, not polluting too much with catalytic converters and all that. And the performance numbers have just gotten crazy. I mean, think about how a Shelby GT 350, 526 horsepower. Who's yet to find out what this GT 500 is coming out in 2020, so get ready for that. But let's focus on this EcoBoost, because there's a lot to talk about. Right off the bat, you can see it's featured in that shadow black finish. If you want black, Ford has done it right with the shadow black. I love how with that refresh in 2018 carried over into 2019. I like the refresh and the styling. Now, one thing you'll notice right off the bat is that this has the old corral around the horse. So if you go back to those early years in the Mustang, that was something that you saw, those extra chrome features, and I like the way Ford has done that. It really tosses it up. I know a lot of people like the open grille look, but I think with the EcoBoost, it helps designate it from the rest of the herd of horses in this corral, and I like the styling. Very clean, gives it that classic look with the 21st century styling. You're gonna get a lot of the same show as you would with the GT. So that's another nice feature that somebody who wants to get the Ford Mustang EcoBoost, is you're gonna have a lot of those same styling cues, like those wonderful headlights, the lower lip spoiler area down here. What I kind of like about this compared to the Performance Pack or the Mustang GT is, like, I like the flat black grille here and it's flat here. On the Mustang GT, it's piano black and then flat black. So I kind of like the way that matches. And that's something that on the Mustang GT, I would like to see piano, just to make it match. Let's go ahead and take a look at the side. So the styling is spot on when it takes you back to those days of old. If you notice, this one has the optional 19-inch wheels. Here's another thing that I think Ford has knocked it out of the park. They allow people to have a selection of wheels, and it's just cool because wheels really, in my eye, set the personality of the car. If this car had 16-inch wheels and they were a different color, it would make the car look totally different. So I like the finish. It's that polished aluminum finish. I like the style of the wheel, and at 19 inches it really fills up the space wonderfully. You're running a 255/40. So when we say 255, that's going to be the width of the tire. 40, it's a 40 series tire, so that's going to be the sidewall, and these are ZR rated. That's for performance, and it's a 19-inch. So 19-inch, we're talking about from top to bottom. Very nicely done on this car. Another thing, and I'm going to stay low, is I really like the stripes. So when you order the wheel, you get this wonderful optional stripe down here. If I was going to zonk the stripe, I probably would like a little bit different font on the Mustang. Maybe have the Mustang word be a little bit bigger, but I do like these stripes. I think it really breaks up the shadow black and gives it some nice color contrast, and it's very well placed, so I do like that. Just like with the other Mustangs we feature here on Raiti's Rides, it has that wonderful fastback styling. I love the quarter windows. I love the rear quarter windows on these cars. Another thing I want to point out, with that whole chrome corral on the front, you have the chrome trim around the window. Now, the first time that I saw this was on that 2019 Bullet that I reviewed. I'm actually digging it. It works. I'm not really a big chrome guy, but I think on this black with the white, with those wheels, it really works very, very well. So that's another way to separate all of these different Mustangs, because remember, at the end of the day, Mustang is outselling the Camaro big time. And guess what? Chevrolet knows it. Going back into that fastback styling, I love the rear fenders on these cars. Very sexy, especially in black. You know, a brand new black car, you can't beat it. To wrap it out on the tail end, it's got a nice trunk lid spoiler, very low, just enough little kick up to give it a little bit of aggressive look. And I just like the total blacked out look. You have the piano black, there's that beautiful horse, the pony. I like the red, white, and blue. I think that's a nice thing that they do with the EcoBoost. And I really, really like the lower diffuser. On an EcoBoost, you're gonna have just the dual exhaust outlets, not the quad tips like you would find on the GT. But I don't know about you, I do love the styling with the nice beveled look here. You have your tri-bar taillights, just low and wide. And that's, I really think, where Ford hit the nail on the head with the styling at the rear. I don't know if you're ready. I'm ready to show you that EcoBoost 2.3 liter underneath the hood. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, there it is, that inline four. When we say EcoBoost here at Ford, that is gonna mean turbocharged. So you got an inline four turbocharged engine. You're looking at 310 horsepower, 350 foot-pounds of torque. This particular model is mated to the 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, when you look at the engine, you are gonna have the plastic cover. One thing that I do like, though, is the way that they kind of designed the top of the engine cover here to really make it look like it was one solid piece. So that's one thing I could give to it. It's also not a very large piece of plastic. If you look underneath the hood of the GT, the plastic just covers everywhere. So you can differentiate, this is engine, this is space around it. And that's one thing as well. If you like to have some space underneath the hood, when you're doing your thing underneath there, you have tons of room to look at the engine, work on the engine, check all your fluids and whatnot, compared to the GT, which is obviously that 5-liter Coyote V8. It's gonna be a larger engine. Now, if you're saying, oh my God, how could Ford do this? How could Ford put a 4-cylinder turbo in a Mustang? Guess what? They did it in the 80s with the SVO Mustang, just saying. But this is a performer, 0 to 60, 5.1 seconds, quarter mile in about 13.7 seconds, and then you're gonna get that gas mileage of, in the city, around 22, and on the highway around 32. So at the end of the day, I think you're gonna get a nice balance of performance with the looks of the Mustang. You're looking at a package weighing in around a little bit over 3,500 pounds. But if you're ready, I'm ready to check out the interior, because guess what? This has that nice premium level grade interior. All right, guys, we're inside the 2019 Ford Mustang EcoBoost. This one is that premium level grade interior. Let's start on the door panels. You can see with the premium, you're gonna have that wonderful leather on the door panel. Really breaks up the sea of plastic that sometimes you could find on door panels. I also like with the Mustangs how they have the polished silver trim on it. It really makes it look like metal, like something you would find from those early Mustangs. These are wonderful. These are a little piece of heaven, I'll be honest with you. The leather seats in the premium grade, very nice leather, very soft. I like the design. I like the contrast stitching. These are heated and air conditioned. Right now it's about 98 degrees out, and I feel cool as a cucumber because I have wonderful air blowing on my back and my rear end, and it feels wonderful. Also in here, you'll see how they went back to the dual cowl setup. I like that styling, harks back to the 60s. There's a nice little Mustang logo there and a polished aluminum feel and look to it. And then even some of the harder plastic, even though this is a hard plastic, it's styled very nicely. It almost looks like a aluminum piece, which is nice. The glove box, you know, somebody asked about the glove box. Does it have a glove box? There's our glove box. One thing I'm not a big fan of is this harder plastic on the glove box, but it's a very large glove box, and for a lot of people, it's hidden, so that's kind of cool. I like the center console area. Here's our 10-speed automatic transmission, very quick shifting. I like the softer material on the premium grade on the whole center console. 2 cup holders. What's cool about the cup holders is that they're actually offset, so it's off to the right, so you could have your arm here and not make a lot of contact with your bottles or cups. You have a nice leather padded armrest, and then here it is, the good old-fashioned e-brake. These things are disappearing. You know, I've been in the new Camaro, they're gone. They have the nice little electronic e-brake. So it's nice to have the good old-fashioned e-brake. This being premium grade as well, has our plethora of switches down here. I like these. A lot of people are like, oh, they look kind of cheap. I don't think so. I think they have a nice, almost metal look to them. They are plastic, but they have a nice metal look, and they have a nice feel when you click through them. Very nice. Believe it or not, brushed aluminum engine start-stop button. This is not plastic. Here's our dual climate control, and then there's that wonderful infotainment system, that sync system from Ford. Very easy to use. I mean, check this out. You go to home, you want climate, there's your climate. Nice and easy to use. Obviously, I have it on low. Everything's on low right now because it is hot as can be. But you want to go back to your Navi? There we go. Very quick, very intuitive. I like the placement of the AC vents. Many spots for you to get that cold air directed on where you need it. And I even like just the leather stitching and everything around the whole unit. Very well done. And just everything is exactly where it needs to be. Speaking of where something needs to be, let's see where you're going to be sitting on this side so you could check out all the niceties for the driver. All right, guys, I'm behind the wheel of the Ford Mustang EcoBoost. Very, very nice, comfortable place to be. Let's start down low. You have this really nice aluminum Mustang tag that does light up. I know it's hard to see right now, but when you open up the door, it does light up. Check out the electronics on the seats. You have full positional seats, all electric for both the driver and the passenger. Another nice thing is if I take you over, if you follow my finger, watch this, follow my finger to the door panel, you have 3 memory settings. So say your wife is going to take out the Mustang, she could have her own setting. Say if you have an adult child, God bless you if you're going to let them take this out, but you could have a setting for them as well. Very nicely done. If Tom could show you, I love the steering wheel in these cars. Great size, great leather, nice and soft. And there's my favorite. I think Ford has nailed it with this LED dash. So you could go, depending on the mode, right now we're in normal, go to Sport Plus, watch it change. Boom. Check that out. You hear the whine of that turbo? Pretty cool. You keep going. You want to go to track? Check it out. Now we got the tachometer across the top. Yes, I know the vehicle's on. Thank you, Ford. But you could see how it really, the font is very crisp, very clear. You could also adjust, check this out, sports steering. You have comfort steering. You have normal steering. So lots of ways to adjust this car and have it tailor-made for you depending on how you like it. Very well done. I don't know if you're ready. I'm ready to take this Ford EcoBoost for a spin and show you that, hey, just because it's a 4-cylinder with a turbo, it's pretty quick. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, we're in the 2019 Ford Mustang EcoBoost, pulling out of Walker Ford, 10-speed. I'm gonna go ahead and stomp on that loud pedal. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised how the acceleration with the 10-speed is. It's very, very quick shifts, very crisp. And like I said, at the end of the day, 310 horsepower, 350 foot-pounds of torque. This is nothing to shy away from. It's not when you hear 4-cylinder turbo, do you think, oh, this is just gonna be some type of slower car that's gonna save me some gas. You could actually get the gas savings, but you also have some good performance as well, because like I said earlier, 0 to 60, 5.1 seconds, and a quarter-mile time of 13.7. That's nothing to laugh about, especially, remember, the car weighs 3,500 pounds and change, so it's not a lightweight, but it is gonna save you some weight
off the front end of the car compared to the GT. Like we were talking about earlier, I love the size of the steering wheel. I love the shape. I love the leather material that they use. And I'm sure you could see, hopefully, keeping my fingers crossed, in the shot, with the premium level options, you get that wonderful LED dash that Ford has developed. And I just love looking at it because as you switch, it really changes up the whole style of the dash. It's really, really nice feature, really cool, and I really, really like it. It's done really well. So you step on that loud pedal, 2.3 liter EcoBoost. It's got actually a pretty good sound coming from underneath the hood for a 4-cylinder. It's not a whiny sound. It's got a little bit of a throat to it. Not as throaty as, say, a V8, of course, but they did do some work in this car. You can get an option, brand new for 2019, with the adaptive exhaust, which was really only a feature last year on the V8 model. Brakes. Now, when it comes to the EcoBoost Mustang, you're not gonna get any kind of Brembo 6-piston calipers or anything like that, but the brakes work really well. They transition, they're not very grabby, and it's got a great pedal feel. Seating position, I love sitting in these Mustangs. You got great forward, sideward, and rearward visibility. So both windows. The only thing you're probably gonna have to get a little used to are the mirrors. The side mirrors are on the smaller side, but they do have a very good angle to them to allow you to see into that next lane. One of my favorite things about the EcoBoost is when you're just driving around like we are, middle of the day, Friday, work traffic, it's a comfortable car. It's smooth, it's tight. It's very, very tight. No rattles. If you have not been in a new Mustang lately, you need to get down to Walker Ford. Take this for a spin. It's gonna surprise you, especially if you have not been in the new EcoBoost. Obviously, I have a lot of experience with the EcoBoost because that's what's in my Ford Focus RS. It's a little different, the setup and the horsepower output and the mapping, but it is the same engine, and it is a very flexible engine. You could drive around as we are right now doing 36 miles an hour, but you'll see once the road clears up, get on the gas, it goes. You don't have to wait for the boost to kick in like a traditional old school turbo. The torque comes in very low. 350 foot-pounds of torque comes in very low and really just builds all the way to redline. Redline's around 6,500 RPM. Guys, we get a little bit of that traffic out of our way. I'm gonna go ahead and step on it. It's in 4th gear, drops down to 3rd, pulls all the way to that red line, 4th, keeps going, 5th. I'm telling you, smooth as can be, very crisp. And I don't know if you can hear it, it really holds the gear for you. And I like that because if you want to get back on it, you're right back in that RPM range. That's what I really like about this transmission. A lot of transmissions would automatically just shift on down to a higher gear to lower the RPMs, but with this one, it really holds the gear, and I like that. I showed you earlier, you could go into different settings. Right now I'm in track. You could go back through and go into normal, and watch, when you go back to normal, it gives you normal style gauges. You have the tachometer on the left, speedometer on the right. Font is easy to use. It's easy to understand, and it just, everything's laid out perfectly in these Mustangs. If I was gonna give a zonk on the interior, like I said, I think this material here, it looks like metal, but it's a little harder plastic. That would be one area, but I do love the dual cowl dash. It's a very good look, and they use a nice material with the contrast stitching, which really makes it feel high-end, and I could appreciate that in the car. Let me go ahead and show you what the brakes feel like here as we go. Very smooth. I mean, the braking technology has come such a long way, and remember, not only is it just the brakes that helps you stop, but it's also the tires. Tire technology has come a long way, and those two things combined, especially with the optional 19-inch wheels. Watch, I'm gonna go ahead and merge here, and I'm not gonna get in anybody's way because you just pull out and get on it and it goes. Very nice. When it comes to the infotainment system, very easy to see the navigation. I like the way the font is, the colors, and then if you wanna get and change the AC, you could go ahead and go back to home, and then you hit climate. And then there's your AC controls. If you don't like LED touch screens for your AC, what's wonderful is you got the buttons. There's a lot of other companies out there that are getting rid of the AC control buttons, the actual physical buttons, and just making you go through the infotainment system. And for some people, it's frustrating, because if you're, say, in navigation and you're trying to focus on where you're going, to have to go back in the infotainment system might be a pain for you. So it's nice that Ford left the buttons there for people. If I want to lower the blower motor, right there, I just lowered it. If I want to raise it, real easy. And it's very intuitive. The way they place them is perfect. Here we go. Empty space. I like empty space. Loud pedal. Right there's third. Very smooth, even over the bumps. Nice feel. So we're back at Walker Ford, and if you're ready, I'm ready to wrap this one up. So I'll see you in about a second.
All right, guys, it's been one hell of a time here at Walker Ford. I'm hoping that with this review, you can see that you have options. And that's the wonderful thing. I know some of you are diehard, dedicated V8 Mustang fans. I'm one of them. But it's nice to have variety for other people, and to have variety within the variety, with different wheels, different colors, different stripes, all that kind of stuff. But I definitely want to give a big shout out to Frank and Western Walker for opening up their wonderful dealership to Raity's Rides. We have such a great connection with them. I know somebody had posted, hey, is Walker Ford getting sick of you hanging around there? No, they actually love supporting Raity's Rides, and the more that we do here, the more they love it, and I'm just so grateful for them. Got to give a big, huge shout out to Tracy, Benji, Mark, Austin, Steven, Denise. I mean, the lineup here is just awesome, and they're all family members, and that's why I want to just give them that shout out, because we're all family here, and it's a wonderful connection, like I said, between Raity's Rides and Walker Ford. If these are the types of cars you like to see on Raity's Rides, leave a comment in the comment section. I know you guys like the Mustangs. Every time I put up a Mustang, it's always getting the views, and I really appreciate your support. If you have not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button. I promise you, each day I have daily uploads, quality content, variety for everybody. Go through that video list of mine. You'll see the variety there. The proof is in the eating of the pudding, as they say. If you are a subscriber, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for your commitment. Without you guys, this would not be the big hit that it is. And I just am blown away. Sky's the limit. And I'm so glad that you are all on this journey with me. If you haven't found my Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages, all Raity's Rides original content all the time, you definitely want to check those out. We can't forget him, the guy we all love. I know there's a big fan club out there. Big Guns McGee, Tom Moschner, working the camera. Thank you, Tom, for your hard work, your dedication, your trust, your friendship, your compassion. He does it all, and he lifts weights. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. So thank you, Tom. Get ready for this, because he's going to be getting in that powerlifting competition. So we want to wish him luck. Leave a comment for Tom. I appreciate the community we built here on Raity's Rides. Check out, get yourself some Raity's Rides merch. We have the official Raity's Rides merch shop. How do you find it? You go in that About tab, click that on my YouTube channel. Lower left-hand corner says Raity's Rides merch shop. It's now connected with Spreadshirt. They're going to be able to get you a plethora of Raity's Rides gear, shirts, hoodies, bags, you name it, it's on there, and it's going to get to you super quick. So thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for watching, and like always, I'll see you on the next ride.